All right, so it's about 3 o'clock in the morning, and I couldn't sleep. So I'm sitting here looking at this going, and mind you, this wasn't up here. And I was sitting in the house, and I'm thinking to myself, what could I do to make this not only a more practical power build, something still goes kind of along my lines of egregious, but makes good, quick power. I'm thinking, that turbo is just awful big. Sure, it makes great boost at high RPM, but it has next to no practicality. So how do we remedy that? And then I remembered that up in my closet of boost, where I have all sorts of yummy boost goodies, I was thinking to myself, I bought this originally for when the Subaru had the boxer engine. Now at the moment it has a 3-liter. Eventually it'll be a 35. But this is a J30. And I was like, that M90 that's up there, that'd be perfect for this thing. That'd be neat to see a supercharger sticking out of the head of the Subaru. But I didn't want to go full on race car with this because this is meant to be something that's fun and practical. But this one here is not meant to be practical in the same sense that this is going to be like a cool daily driver or goes anywhere all-terrain kind of vehicle. This one here is meant to simply slide, make brap noises, and spoolie spool. That's the whole point of this car, is just to be fun. Nothing else. I did not buy this so I could take my family anywhere. I didn't buy it so I could take cross-country road trips in comfortable environments. This car was bought to make me smile, and that's it. So I was sitting here looking at this going, you know what? Maybe we can make this work. It's got a 7-rib pulley on it right now. But this it's a 4-rib. This 4-rib. And then I have this old tensioner, funny enough, from a Subaru. Okay. And we've got these holes right here, here, and here, where we could easily make a bracket to come off here. Stick this sucker somewhere in here. And my mounting holes are on the back right there, right? So it sits somewhere in here, which is perfect. Lines right up, sits right off that there. Lines up with the crank pulley. And then I know of a couple of neat tricks about how to not have to change these bigger pulleys. And you can actually put like hair ties in here, and it'll keep the belt from jumping over. And I'm thinking, man, we could just take this off, make a little bracket piece right there, and then put an outlet on it and just feed it right into the turbo. That'd spool the turbo up real quick so we'd have no lag from the turbo at all. And then we'd get an easy, cool 9 PSI off of this guy here. And then this thing has a really neat feature where it has an electronic cutoff valve right here. This would be normally what you'd see on an exhaust, right? You see in there's a little butterfly. That butterfly can actually control whether or not it sees boost. That's what this fancy little piece here is. Otherwise, we just get rid of this, feed it right off that, and you get boost all the time. But the neat thing about this is we could actually bypass it once this thing reaches terminal and it's not making boost anymore. We can cut it off, and now it's not a bottleneck. And we open this up, okay, and that'll give, it only comes through this one port right here, which is whatever, okay, and we're running a blow through on the throttle body, so throttle body's over here. This would see a filter, it'd just be an air filter off the side. Now mind you, we'd have to cut a giant hole in the hood for this. At this point, it would almost be like, why even run a hood? Or, you know what, we put a giant hood scoop on it just for giggles, because it'll pull out the back, right? So we could run a cowl induction hood on that. Nobody would even know what's in. They'd think it's like a crazy V8 or so, until they heard it. But I digress. This could be really, really cool. And I've wanted to find a use for this supercharger for a long time. I got it off eBay for $100. It's a good Mercedes supercharger off an SLK 230. I mean, no shaft play. None. It's a beautiful condition. I think it was 120,000 mile motor. Yeah, guys, I think this could be super cool. So though, we may go with the nitrous later, but I think I may focus on doing twin charge for the moment. It wouldn't be hard to build a bracket that would go from here, okay, we have these mounting points there, and then we've got another one right here in the front, and then this one here, okay, and we could just turn these brackets down, but we could make like a little bracketry that would hold the supporting parts are right here and here, and then we have another one in the back, and then there's one at the bottom here, right? And I like kind of having it lay on its side like that, because otherwise everything sticks up real tall. With the pulley, tensioner pulley being over here, we could run this thing up top, no worries, because it'll pull on the crankshaft this way, right? You'd have one that's coming up, so that'd be a heck of a stretch. We could probably put another pulley off of right here, just an idler pulley, right? We'd have one sit, so probably like right here, and maybe have that push in, okay? And then we have this one here and have it pull out. So the pulley would be coming up like this, go like that, and then up. And then this one here would come up, around, get pulled out, and then come up through the bottom right here. So it'd be a pretty long pulley, but I believe we could still get it to work without pulling on the crankshaft too terribly bad. Because normally it's got the AC sitting over here. And that's what, these lower brackets, so it's usually being pulled off to the side. This one here, I'm getting ready to get a new fluid damper crank pulley, so that'll help with the high RPM stuff. But with this setup, we wouldn't really need to spin it up super duper high. This thing would be for the big boost up at the top. We could let it breathe and just let it do what it's going to do, because this is going to provide us with that quick, snappy, low-end power that we're looking for. And so, the horsepower numbers aren't going to be gigantic, but I believe with this setup right here, this could be a very formidable power plant, making good power all through the entire RPM ranges. From damn near off idle, it's going to have instantaneous boost coming from the supercharger. And then that's going to feed the turbo, and it's going to kill any turbo lag we would have. So we're going to see, 5 PSI real quick like, because this is meant for a 1.8 liter engine. So, and depending on how we run the pulleys, and we could always get a different pulley for this. That's not hard. This unscrews right here, and it's just a press off shaft. It's not that hard to put on, like they make a kit where you press on a deal and it lets you bolt on a different one. And then we could easily just have a 4-rib pulley on there. And again, I know it's not like a whole lot of grab, but it's more than enough. Sorry, I hit the camera. It's more than enough for this little engine. So, yeah, let me know what you guys think. I'm going to go back in the house, take another dab or two, if you know what I'm saying, and ponder this some more. But I really like it. I really like the idea of it. Just imagine this thing, turned over, like a nice little fucking bracket right there. Just, I think it's going to be cool. Cowl hood induction. Yeah, just imagine a filter sitting like right here. The only thing that would suck is we'd have to do like a heat shield. But nah, we just do a hood. We just do it. Yeah, we could just do a cold air. We could have a tube, have an elbow come up right here, and just pipe like a filter right up on the top here. Just put a big, because it's neat, with the little, I don't know, you could see it right there though, the impression. We would just basically stick that up. We take off that whole thing. I don't even care if it has a hood at this point. But yeah, I think I'm gonna focus on starting to make this happen. The cool thing is too, we can install the engine and get going in the right direction and not sit here and wait for the car to run forever. This isn't a project that's going to be, putting it down. This is something that I can build along the way, because I do have coil pack conversions coming. So the supercharger itself, it won't be sitting at that exact position. It's either going to be turned a different way or moved over. Most people run the coil packs facing this direction. I'm actually going to have them facing this direction, so that the harness and everything will just be nice and tucked and real short right here. We won't have this coil pack here anymore. Yeah, I think that's it for the moment here. But man, I'm really excited. I think that's going to be super cool. Because I was sitting here thinking, like, we have this huge cavity, but then you have the boost pipe that comes down. We've got the coolant hose that comes out right here and comes down, and then there's another piece of it that mounts somewhere. I was like, man, there's not a lot of room to tuck a supercharger somewhere and have it work right. And we're already going to have heat coming up right here. The supercharger is going to get hot on its own. But having that cowl induction and getting some airflow coming in right over the top of the engine, yeah. And then we could even just spray the nitrous right inside this one right here. So it would come in, it would cool the charger here, and then, well, it would cool the charger. And then this also makes more sense about me gapping the rings real high, because then we don't have to worry about the heat and stuff, but it'll all be pre-cooler. So it'll go through an intercooler right here in the front. So all that heat will have a chance to get it to evaporate. And realistically, I also have a real neat DIY water meth kit that I'm going to be introducing into this. And that would be right after the charge pipe here. So it would be just pre-intercooler. And that would get, well, I don't know, maybe we might actually put the water meth post-cooler. And the reason why is because you kind of want to wait and let some of the actual heat come through. And we'll discuss that another day. I haven't really decided. I'll either put the water meth pipe or feed right here, or it'll be somewhere in here in the post cooler charge pipe. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. Pretty cool. Peace.